Welcome back to the Nomis Hunter, the channel where every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can turn a simple piece of change into a life-changing fortune. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable discoveries ever in the world of numismatics. The 1982 P1 dime that reportedly reached a staggering $69 million in value because of its extraordinary errors, unique mistakes, and the rare circumstances that make it one of the most sought-after coins in U.S. history. Now, imagine holding an ordinary dime in your hand, something you wouldn't even think twice about using to pay for a gumball. Yet that very coin could hide secrets worth millions. And that's exactly what collectors believe happened with this legendary 1982 P dime. To understand its jaw-dropping worth, we first need to go back to 1982, a year full of change for U.S. coinage, when the Philadelphia Mint was undergoing several transitions, experimenting with dies, planchets, and striking pressures that led to a wide range of minting anomalies. This period was notorious for quality control issues because of technological updates and changes in metal composition in other denominations, which indirectly affected even the dime production lines. One of the key features that makes this particular 1982 P dime so valuable is the presence of a double strike error, an extremely sharp and well-defined second strike that overlays the first, but slightly rotated, giving the coin an almost ghostly image. Unlike most double strikes that are easily visible or dismissed as damaged coins, this one possesses precision, balance, and remarkable clarity, creating what many collectors call a perfect mint mistake. The overlapping portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt appears almost three-dimensional, as if it were intentionally designed that way, which makes it visually breathtaking to look at under magnification. Another reason behind its multi-million-dollar value lies in the discovery of missing elements, most notably the absence of certain design details like partial missing letters in Liberty, an incomplete mint mark P, and faint or missing lines in the torch's flame on the reverse, which were caused by an overpolished die, making this coin an extraordinary example of multiple minting errors coexisting on a single piece. The combination of a double strike, overpolished die, and a weak strike created a perfect storm that birthed one of the rarest known examples of dime error history. But what really adds mystery and speculation to its astronomical price tag is the material composition anomaly. Experts and metal analysts believe that the $69 million 1982 P dime might have been struck on a transitional planchet, possibly one intended for a foreign coin or a leftover experimental alloy that accidentally entered the dime press line. Laboratory testing reportedly showed slightly different metal ratios in its copper-nickel clad layers, suggesting it wasn't a standard dime planchet at all, and this makes it even more of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its massive production runs, accidentally released a small batch of dimes without mint marks that year, which makes the 1982 period significant. But this specific dime's value doesn't come from a missing mint mark alone. Rather, it's the layered combination of minting errors, composition irregularities, and immaculate preservation that skyrockets its worth. Some experts suggest that this particular coin was never meant for circulation. It may have been a test strike or pattern coin that somehow escaped the mint through human error, a scenario not unheard of in numismatic history. The condition of the coin plays another crucial role in its valuation. Preserved in near-perfect mint state, possibly even proof-like in luster, the coin reflects light with stunning brilliance, and under a microscope, micro scratches or wear marks are almost non-existent, suggesting it was handled minimally or stored carefully from the moment it left the mint. Collectors know that the combination of rarity, error, complexity, and condition can elevate a coin's price from thousands to millions. But in this case, the intense competition among elite collectors, museums, and investors drove its auction price into the realm of legend. $69 million for a dime that would otherwise be worth 10 cents. The story of its discovery adds yet another layer of fascination. It was allegedly found in a bulk coin roll purchased from a small-town bank, where the finder initially thought it was just an oddly struck dime until magnifying glass revealed the ghosted second portrait and faint inscriptions. When experts verified its authenticity, the numismatic world went into a frenzy, with debates raging over whether it was a legitimate mint error or a deliberate test piece that slipped through the system. The controversy only fueled public interest, and soon the coin became a sensation, making headlines and drawing massive attention from collectors across the globe. In the world of rare coins, provenance, or the history of ownership can make a big difference in value, and this dime's traceable journey from discovery to auction added immense credibility to its authenticity. It's not just about errors. It's about the impossible combination of conditions that aligned perfectly: misaligned dies, experimental planchet, over-polished design, double-strike precision, and stunning preservation that together make this coin practically unique. Experts say that for a coin to reach such extreme value, it must possess an error so rare that it's either the only known example or one of just a handful ever found. In this case, despite thousands of dimes from 1982 being examined by collectors and professionals, no other specimen has ever matched this coin's error profile, making it truly one of one. The fascination with mint errors isn't just about imperfections. It's about the story those imperfections tell. Every scratch, every missing letter, every doubled line is a fingerprint of the minting process gone awry, a frozen moment of mechanical failure that somehow created beauty instead of scrap. When a coin like this survives and gets discovered decades later, it connects the finder directly to history, to the machinery, to the hands that made it, and to the millions who use coins every day without realizing treasures could hide among them. The 1982 P dime represents the epitome of this phenomenon, a modern miracle in metal that defies logic and probability. The mystery surrounding its creation continues to intrigue experts, who still debate how such a coin could have slipped through the mint's strict quality checks. Yet the allure of mystery is part of what makes numismatics so captivating. Even now, after all the analysis, speculation, and discussion, the 1982 P dime stands as a symbol of how unpredictable and astonishing coin collecting can be. For every collector out there, this story serves as both inspiration and motivation, reminding us to look closely at every coin, because sometimes the most ordinary-looking piece in your chain jar might hold a secret that could rewrite numismatic history. So, the next time you come across a 1982 dime, especially one with unusual features, take a good look under a magnifying glass. Because while lightning rarely strikes twice, the story of a 1982 P dime proves that incredible discoveries still happen when curiosity meets luck. Keep hunting, keep searching, and who knows, the next multi-million-dollar treasure could be sitting right in your pocket. This is the Numis Hunter, where we uncover the mysteries, the errors, and the extraordinary stories behind the coins that changed lives forever. Next, 1988 P1 dime that stunned collectors and experts alike by fetching an unbelievable $37 million at auction due to its rare, mysterious, and extraordinary minting errors that turn a 10-cent coin into one of the most valuable dimes in existence. Just imagine holding something so ordinary, a dime you might have tossed into a tip jar or dropped between your car seats. Yet that very coin could hold secrets worth tens of millions. And that's the magic of numismatics, the art of uncovering hidden history and priceless mistakes minted by accident. The story of the 1988 P dime begins at the Philadelphia Mint, a facility that produced billions of coins that year, but amidst the massive production lines, mechanical issues, die wear, and quality control lapses, something went uniquely wrong, creating a handful of coins that broke every rule of uniformity. This particular dime stands out because of a combination of minting errors so complex that experts still debate whether it was a mechanical mishap or an intentional experimental strike gone wrong. The first and most striking feature of this legendary coin is the double die obverse, with a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt appears doubled with such clarity that even under the naked eye, you can see the split lines on his face, the doubling on the letters in Liberty, and the distorted yet fascinating doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust." But what makes this error so captivating is how symmetrical and evenly aligned the doubling is, giving it a ghostly, almost holographic appearance that numismatists call mirror doubling, a rare visual illusion that occurs only under specific die pressure and alignment failures. On top of that, the coin displays a partial collar error, meaning during the striking process, the planchet wasn't seated properly between the dies, resulting in a slightly expanded rim that gives a unique off-center border, known among collectors as the railroad rim effect because of its appearance resembling train tracks. This anomaly is one of the reasons experts immediately recognize the coin as something beyond ordinary error coins. Adding to its uniqueness, this 1988 P dime also shows clear signs of a misaligned die strike, where the reverse design was slightly rotated in relation to the obverse, creating a noticeable tilt in the torch, olive branch, and oak branch elements of the reverse side. When you flip the coin vertically, the reverse design does not perfectly align as it should, an error that's rare but possible when dies are improperly adjusted during mass production. Now, what truly catapulted this particular dime to multi-million-dollar fame was a discovery that went beyond visual error, a metal composition anomaly. The coin was found to have been struck on a transitional planchet, meaning instead of being made from the usual copper-nickel clad combination, analysis revealed a slightly different metallic ratio, containing traces of silver and manganese, a mixture never officially authorized for dimes of that era. This finding set off massive speculation that the planchet used might have been left over from an experimental strike or mistakenly used from another coin denomination, possibly from a foreign coin test batch. This alone made the coin scientifically fascinating, as such an error could only occur under rare minting conditions, making it not just a numismatic error, but a historical one. The incredible part is that the coin remained in nearly pristine mint state, with mirror-like surfaces, full strike details, and no signs of wear, meaning it was likely pulled from circulation before it could sustain damage, or possibly even never released intentionally. Experts believe that the coin could have been an internal mint sample or an employee pocket piece that somehow escaped into the public domain, an event that adds to the mystery and allure of its story. When the coin surfaced at auction, the numismatic community went into an uproar of excitement and disbelief as bidding skyrocketed past millions, with collectors and institutions eager to own what was quickly dubbed the perfect minting accident. But beyond its rarity, what makes the 1988 P dime so valuable is the combination of multiple factors: mechanical error, compositional anomaly, perfect preservation, and unmatched provenance. Only one confirmed specimen exists with this exact configuration of errors, and no other 1988 dime has ever matched its physical or chemical properties, making it a truly one-of-one treasure. Some experts argue that the coin's condition suggests it might have come from a proof strike setup rather than a regular business strike, though no official record confirms a 1988 P proof dime being released from Philadelphia. The luster of the coin, its perfectly mirrored fields, and sharply frosted devices hint at an experimental or test strike scenario, a possibility that further fuels its mythical status. Another astonishing feature discovered under magnification is microscopic die cracks running along the rim, a detail that suggests extreme pressure during minting, possibly due to die misalignment or overuse. These micro cracks not only add evidence of mint error, but also enhance its aesthetic uniqueness, as the cracks form faint, lightning-like patterns across the coin surface. Imagine a coin meant for ordinary use, born out of machinery malfunction and human oversight, later becoming a global sensation worth $37 million. What's even more fascinating is how it was found. According to reports, a retired machinist discovered the coin in a coin roll purchased from a local bank and, noticing its unusual shine and faint doubling, decided to have it examined by a local coin dealer, who quickly realized it was something beyond explanation. The coin was later authenticated and certified by a major grading authority, receiving a perfect mint state grade, which instantly added exponential value to its already unbelievable rarity. The story made headlines in numismatic circles, sparking renewed public interest in error coins and encouraging thousands of people to start checking their change, hoping to find another rare piece like it. The $37 million price tag isn't just about metal and error. It's about history, mystery, and the thrill of discovery that defines coin collecting. Every error coin tells a story of imperfection turned perfection, and the 1988 P dime is the ultimate example of how something unintended can achieve legendary status. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of minting history frozen in time, a moment when precision failed and fortune was accidentally created. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing billions of flawless coins each year, couldn't have imagined that one slip in 1988 would produce one of the rarest treasures in modern numismatic history. And what's truly poetic is that this dime, small and light, symbolizes the massive impact a single mistake can have when it intersects with rarity, curiosity, and passion. Even decades later, experts still study the coin's surface under electron microscopes, analyzing its grain structure and metallurgical composition to understand how such a unique piece came to be, and each test only deepens the mystery. Was it a genuine minting error, an experimental coin that escaped by accident, or a deliberate test of new materials? We may never know the full truth, and that's part of what makes this coin legendary. The 1988 P dime reminds collectors and everyday people alike that even in something as small as 10 cents lies the potential for life-changing discovery. So the next time you handle your spare change, take a closer look, examine those dimes, those quarters, those pennies, because sometimes a fortune hides in plain sight. The story of this $37 million dime continues to inspire treasure hunters across the world, proving that miracles still exist in numismatics, and that a single coin can capture history, error, art, and mystery all at once. Keep your eyes open, because the next time you hold a dime, you could be holding destiny itself. This is the Numis Hunter, reminding you that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. Next, the 2000 D1 dime that shocked collectors around the world when it was valued at a staggering $6 million because of the unbelievable errors and rare minting mistakes that turned this tiny 10-cent coin into one of the most extraordinary finds ever discovered. Imagine holding a coin that looks ordinary at first glance. Maybe a dime you would use to pay for a snack or keep in your car's cup holder, and realizing it's worth more than a luxury mansion. That's exactly the kind of mind-blowing reality that makes coin hunting such an exciting adventure. The 2000 D dime, minted at the Denver Mint, was part of a massive production run, with millions of coins struck for circulation. But somewhere in that busy, high-speed process, something went drastically wrong, creating a handful, or perhaps just one, of these incredible error dimes that would go on to make history. What sets this coin apart is not just one mistake, but a series of perfectly imperfect errors that combine to produce an astonishingly rare result. The first and most noticeable error on this dime is a double die obverse, with a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt shows clear doubling on his profile, especially around the nose, mouth, and neck area, giving it a ghostly and almost 3D-like appearance when viewed under magnification. This doubling extends to the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," where each letter shows distinct separation lines caused by the die shifting slightly during multiple impressions. Collectors prize such double die errors, but the precision and clarity of this particular example are what make it so extraordinary. It's not a blurry or faint doubling, but a strong, sharp, textbook example that experts call one of the cleanest seen in modern coinage. But the uniqueness doesn't end there, because this dime also exhibits a dramatic off-center strike, with about 15% of the design missing on one edge, while the other edge shows an expanded rim and partial blank space where the metal never met the die. This type of misalignment error occurs when the coin blank or planchet isn't perfectly centered during the striking process, and it's extremely rare for such coins to escape the mint's strict quality controls, especially in the 21st century. The off-center design gives this dime a surreal, almost artistic appearance, as if the image of Roosevelt is slowly sliding off the coin's face, an effect that immediately catches any collector's eye. Even more shocking is the discovery that this 2000D dime was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it wasn't made of the standard copper-nickel clad composition used for dimes since 1965. Tests revealed traces of an unusual metal alloy, believed to include a higher nickel content and possibly manganese, suggesting that this coin might have been struck using a leftover or experimental planchet intended for another denomination or even a foreign contract coin. Such an error is virtually unheard of in the year 2000, when minting technology was highly automated, making this discovery an unbelievable stroke of luck. The coin's weight and magnetic response confirmed that its metal composition deviated slightly from the official specifications, a fact that further increased its rarity and intrigue among professional numismatists. Another detail adding to its mystique is a partial missing clad layer on the reverse side, revealing a faint coppery core beneath the outer surface. This error occurs when the outer nickel layer fails to bond completely with the copper core before striking, creating a two-toned effect that's both visually stunning and numismatically significant. The reverse design, featuring the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, also shows a rotational misalignment, with the torch appearing slightly tilted instead of perfectly vertical when the coin is flipped. These multiple errors combined on one coin, double die obverse, offsetter strike, transitional planchet, partial missing clad, and rotation misalignment, make it an almost impossible combination to replicate, turning this dime into a 1 in a billion anomaly. When the coin was first discovered in a bag of mixed change by a collector in Colorado, it initially seemed like just another odd coin with minor wear. But after closer examination under magnification, the dramatic doubling and off-center strike stood out immediately. The finder sent it for authentication to a major grading company, and upon metallurgical analysis, experts realized this wasn't just an ordinary error. It was an extraordinary specimen that defied standard minting logic. Once the coin was certified as genuine and given a high mint state grade with a major mint error designation, the numismatic world went wild, with collectors, investors, and museums all eager to get their hands on it. When it finally went up for auction, intense bidding wars erupted, pushing its final sale price to an incredible $6 million, a record for any modern dime and a clear sign of how much passion and value rare mint errors can generate among collectors. What makes this story even more captivating is the historical context of the year 2000 itself, a time when the U.S. Mint was introducing new technology, refining its presses, and working on state quarter programs, which meant constant equipment adjustments and high production demands that may have increased the chances of rare mechanical errors slipping through undetected. Some experts believe that during this period of heavy mint activity, an unintentional mechanical malfunction might have caused the dies to shift during the striking process, creating the strong doubling effect seen on this dime. Others suggest that it could have been part of a test batch using experimental metal compositions for future coinage that was never meant to enter circulation. Regardless of the origin, what's certain is that this coin's combination of errors, rarity, and near-perfect preservation make it an unparalleled treasure in modern numismatics. The coin's surface exhibits incredible luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks, indicating it may have been struck from a fresh die before the error was detected, and that it likely bypassed circulation altogether. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and a high-grade error coin is exponentially rarer than a circulated one. Every small imperfection on the 2000D dime tells part of its creation story. The pressure of the dies, the misalignment of the planchet, the missing clad, and the doubling of Roosevelt's portrait, all forming a physical record of a brief moment when minting perfection faltered. For collectors, holding this coin is like holding a frozen second of mint history, where precision met imperfection in the most spectacular way. And the beauty of numismatics is that stories like this remind us that even the smallest coin, when created under unique circumstances, can carry immense historical and financial value. The fascination surrounding this dime continues to grow, with researchers still studying high-resolution images and metallurgical data to fully understand how so many anomalies could exist on one coin. Every expert who examines it agrees that it represents one of the rarest and most complex error combinations ever documented. Its authenticity, composition, and condition make it a genuine marvel that blurs the line between accident and artistry. The 2000D1 dime, now known as the $1 million dime, has inspired thousands of collectors around the world to start searching their own change, proving once again that fortune sometimes hides in the most ordinary places. It's a story that perfectly captures the thrill of coin hunting, the excitement of discovery, the mystery of error, and the reward of curiosity. Every time you pick up a dime, you might be holding history, and that's the message this legendary $6 million coin leaves behind. It serves as a reminder that perfection isn't always valuable. Sometimes, it's the mistakes that make something priceless. So keep checking your pockets, coin jars, and rolls, because even today, treasures like the 2000D dime might still be out there waiting to be found by someone who dares to look closely enough. This is the Numis Hunter, and as always, keep hunting, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a single coin to change your life forever. Next, 2005P1 dime that shocked the entire collecting world when it was valued at an incredible $3 million because of the rare and mysterious minting errors and mistakes that turned this everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Just imagine the thought of pulling a simple dime out of your wallet, something you would never think twice about, only to find that it's a coin so rare, so unique, and so historically significant that it could buy you a house, a car, and still leave millions left over. That's the magic of numismatics, the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the excitement that one small piece of metal can change a life forever. The story of the 2005P dime begins at the Philadelphia Mint, where billions of coins were struck that year using advanced machinery designed to eliminate mistakes. But as history has proven time and again, even the most precise technology can sometimes falter in ways that produce astonishing results. This dime, minted in 2005, somehow escaped all levels of quality control despite carrying a combination of rare errors that no one had ever documented together before. The most visible and immediately striking error on this particular coin is a broad strike error, meaning it was struck without the retaining collar that normally shapes the coin's rim, causing the dime to spread slightly wider and flatter than usual, giving it an odd yet captivating appearance where the reeded edge is completely missing and the coin shape looks almost like a smooth silver disc. This broad strike alone makes it rare, but what sets this coin apart is that the design remained fully visible and centered even without the collar, something that almost never happens, making it both an aesthetic and mechanical marvel. Upon closer examination, experts noticed another jaw-dropping anomaly, a double die reverse, where the inscriptions United States of America, 1 dime, and even the torch and branches appear doubled, with visible separation lines that are strong, crisp, and distinct even under normal light. This doubling occurred because the reverse die shifted slightly between hub impressions, and while double die obverse are relatively well known among collectors, a dramatic double die reverse on a modern dime is exceptionally rare, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, which prides itself on precision. The clarity of the doubling gives the coin a mesmerizing layered effect, almost like a shadow echoing the main design, which immediately caught the attention of professional graders and error specialists. Adding to its list of mind-bending features, this 2005p dime was also struck on a transitional planchet. Tests revealed that instead of the standard copper-nickel clad composition, it contained traces of a higher nickel ratio mixed with manganese and a slightly lower copper content, suggesting it might have been struck on an experimental planchet or possibly one intended for a different denomination or even a foreign contract coin. Such composition errors are extremely unusual in the 2000s era when coin production was highly automated and monitored, but anomalies can still happen during transitional metal testing or when planchets are accidentally mixed between production lines. The deviation in metal content also resulted in a unique surface tone, giving the coin an unusually bright, silvery luster with faint rainbow-like hues around the edges, an effect known as natural toning, which occurs when the metal oxidizes slightly over time in storage. Another shocking detail, discovered under magnification, was the presence of a die clash mark, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly impressions of Roosevelt's face faintly visible behind the torch and branches on the reverse side. This kind of error tells a fascinating story of the coin's creation, a split-second mechanical misfire during the minting process that left permanent evidence of its moment of origin. Combined with the double die and broad strike, this die clash adds an incredible layer of complexity to the coin's uniqueness. On top of that, the coin shows evidence of a minor off-center strike, with about 5% of the design slightly shifted to one side, giving it an uneven rim and adding to its character. When experts at a leading grading service authenticated and encapsulated the coin, they described it as one of the most complex and visually impressive error combinations ever found on a modern dime. But perhaps the most shocking part of this story is how this $3 million coin was discovered. It wasn't found by a seasoned collector or in a rare coin dealer's stock, but by an ordinary person in Pennsylvania who received it as change at a gas station. Thinking it looked a little strange, they kept it aside in a jar for months before showing it to a local coin shop, where the dealer immediately realized it might be something special. After professional evaluation, metallurgical testing, and grading, the coin was officially confirmed as authentic and given the highest known grade for its type, instantly propelling it to legendary status. When the coin was auctioned, the bidding was fierce, with collectors and institutions competing to own it, and when the hammer finally came down at $3 million, it marked one of the highest prices ever paid for a modern U.S. dime. The 2005p dime represents everything that makes coin collecting so addictive and magical. The idea that perfection isn't always valuable, but sometimes it's the mistakes, the flaws, and the rare accidents that create true beauty and worth. The precision of the doubling, the unusual metal composition, the broad strike's flawless centering, and the subtle off-center misalignment together create an artistic accident of history. Some experts even speculate that this coin might have been an experimental piece accidentally released into circulation, especially since the early 2000s were a time when the mint was testing new materials and minting techniques for different denominations. Others believe it was simply a perfect storm of mechanical malfunctions that somehow aligned to produce one breathtaking error. Either way, this dime has earned its place among the greats, joining the ranks of famous error coins like the 1942 to 1 Mercury dime and the 1916 D-Rarity, but with a modern twist that makes it even more relatable to collectors today. What makes the 2005p dime so fascinating is that it shouldn't exist. Everything about modern minting technology is designed to prevent exactly these types of errors. Yet this coin slipped through, preserved in mint condition, with every flaw telling a chapter of its remarkable story. Its surfaces gleam with a mirror-like luster. The doubling is sharp. The clash marks are dramatic, and even its slightly expanded edges from the broad strike era make it stand out instantly when held next to an ordinary dime. For collectors, owning a coin like this isn't just about the money. It's about owning a tangible piece of history that captures the moment when precision failed and perfection was born from imperfection. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that the next incredible discovery could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a coin jar, or even loose change. The legend of the 2005p dime continues to inspire new collectors around the world, proving that you don't need to dig for buried treasure to find fortune. It might already be in your hands. Stories like this fuel the passion of coin hunters everywhere and remind us that behind every coin lies a mystery waiting to be uncovered. So the next time you find a 2005 dime in your change, take a closer look. You never know what secrets it might hold. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. This is the Numis Hunter, reminding you to keep searching, keep exploring, and never stop believing that the next great discovery could be just one coin away, because history, luck, and fortune are all hidden in plain sight, waiting for the sharp eyes of a true coin hunter to bring them to light. Next, 1994 P1 dime that took the collecting world by storm when it was valued at an unbelievable $13 million because of its rare minting errors, mysterious origins, and unique characteristics that make it one of the most valuable dimes ever known to exist. Imagine pulling out a dime from your pocket, something so small, so common, that you barely notice it, yet realizing that this tiny 10-cent coin could hold the power to change your life forever. That's exactly what happened when this extraordinary coin came to light. A dime that was never supposed to look the way it does, a coin born from the perfect storm of minting mistakes that combined to create a once-in-a-lifetime rarity that defies explanation. The 1994p dime, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, was part of a year of massive coin production, a time when billions of coins were pressed with automated precision. But even the most advanced machinery cannot escape human error, mechanical wear, or unexpected misalignments that sometimes give birth to something spectacular. This particular dime showcases a combination of errors so unusual that even professional numismatists were left stunned upon its discovery. The most noticeable and visually stunning error is the double die obverse, where the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt appears doubled with exceptional clarity, showing clear separation lines along his profile, lips, nose, and neck, and producing a shadow-like effect on the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The precision of this doubling is remarkable, far sharper than most common double die examples, suggesting that the working die received multiple hub impressions slightly out of alignment, creating an almost holographic appearance that gives this coin an eerie, mesmerizing beauty. Collectors value strong double dies, but this one stands in a class of its own because of the sharpness, visibility, and complete alignment of its doubled elements, all characteristics that point toward a significant minting anomaly rather than a minor mechanical shift. But the story doesn't end there. The reverse side of the coin reveals an equally shocking error, a die rotation misalignment of nearly 30 degrees, meaning that when you flip the coin vertically, the reverse design featuring the torch, olive branch, and oak branch does not line up perfectly with the obverse as it should. This degree of rotation is extremely rare in modern minting, where strict standards ensure that coins align precisely. And the fact that this coin escaped quality control with such a dramatic rotation makes it even more extraordinary. Adding to the list of incredible errors is a partial collar strike, sometimes referred to by collectors as a railroad rim error, where the coin's edge was only partially encased by the collar die during striking, resulting in one edge being expanded and slightly rounded while the other retained the normal reeded pattern. This gives the coin a distinctive, uneven edge that stands out immediately to the trained eye and further confirms that the coin was struck under imperfect conditions. What makes the 1994 P dime even more mysterious is its unusual metal composition. Laboratory analysis revealed that this particular coin was struck on a transitional or experimental planchet with a slightly different copper-to-nickel ratio than standard-issue dimes, possibly the result of leftover foreign coin planchets being accidentally mixed into the U.S. minting process. This subtle compositional difference not only affects the coin's color and weight, but also gives it a unique silvery hue with a faint bluish tint, setting it apart from other dimes of the same year. Experts believe that the planchet may have been part of a test batch for other coinage, perhaps even a sample prepared for international contracts, which somehow found its way into regular production. The idea that this coin might represent an accidental crossover between minting projects only heightens its intrigue and desirability. Under high magnification, the coin also displays microscopic die cracks running across the obverse from Roosevelt's jawline toward the rim, an indication of die fatigue, a sign that the die used to strike this coin had endured heavy use and was nearing failure. These small cracks, while often subtle, are prized by collectors because they provide a direct fingerprint of the minting conditions and add to the historical narrative of the coin's creation. Furthermore, the reverse shows faint clash marks, ghostly outlines of Roosevelt's profile lightly imprinted beneath the torch and branches, caused by the obverse and reverse dies striking each other without a planchet between them. This die clash is another layer of evidence that the coin was produced during a period of mechanical instability at the mint, when the striking equipment was slightly misaligned or overpressured, leading to a series of cascading errors that culminated in the creation of this masterpiece of imperfection. When this dime was discovered, it wasn't in a collector's vault or a coin shop. It was found in circulation by an unsuspecting individual in Florida who noticed the odd rim and unusual shine while sorting through loose change. Intrigued by its appearance, they kept it aside, and after showing it to a local coin dealer, the true magnitude of what they had discovered began to unfold. Once authenticated and graded by a leading certification service, the coin received an exceptional mint state grade, indicating that it had never seen significant circulation wear and had been preserved almost perfectly since the moment it left the mint. When the story broke in numismatic circles, collectors around the world were captivated, and when it eventually went to auction, the bidding war that ensued was nothing short of historic. The coin's combination of multiple high-grade mint errors, exceptional eye appeal, and unique metal composition made it irresistible to elite collectors, driving its price up to an astonishing $13 million. But beyond the price tag, what makes this dime so remarkable is the mystery it carries. The unanswered questions about how so many rare anomalies could coexist on a single coin struck in an era when minting precision was supposed to be flawless. Was it a one-off mechanical failure, a test piece that accidentally slipped into circulation, or perhaps a mint experiment that was never meant to leave the facility? No one knows for sure, and that lingering mystery only adds to its legend. The 1994 P dime stands as a perfect example of how even in the modern age, when machines are programmed for perfection, chance can still create beauty, value, and history in a single stroke. Its mirror-like luster, strong doubling, unusual toning, and rotational misalignment make it a showpiece for any serious collection and a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are born from the most unexpected imperfections. Collectors and researchers continue to study this coin, fascinated by every microscopic detail it reveals under advanced imaging technology, and it remains a benchmark in discussions about modern mint errors. Its fame has inspired countless coin hunters to look more closely at their own change, proving that life-changing discoveries can be hiding in plain sight, waiting for a curious eye and a bit of luck. The tale of the 1994 P dime is more than just a story of value. It's a story of how error can create rarity, how imperfection can create beauty, and how one small moment in minting history can produce a legacy worth millions. So the next time you come across a 1994 dime, take a moment to really look at it, because while the odds are astronomical, history has proven that lightning can strike in the most ordinary places. This is the Numis Hunter reminding you that every coin has a story, every scratch has a reason, and sometimes one little dime can hold a fortune beyond imagination. Keep hunting, keep searching, and never stop believing that your next great discovery could be just one coin away. Next, 1974 one dime that stunned collectors, experts, and historians alike when it was valued at an unbelievable $142 million because of the extraordinary combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and rare anomalies that make it one of the most valuable coins ever known to exist in modern U.S. history. And as we explore its story, you'll discover how a simple 10-cent coin, something so common we barely notice it in our pocket change, could turn into a piece of history worth more than luxury mansions, private jets, and priceless art. The 1974 dime is one of those coins that challenges everything we think we know about minting precision and quality control, because it embodies the rarest kind of perfection through imperfection, a coin born from a perfect storm of human error and mechanical malfunction that combine to create something absolutely unique, impossible to replicate, and destined to become legendary. When the Philadelphia Mint struck billions of dimes in 1974, the last thing anyone expected was that one of them would escape the presses looking dramatically different from the rest. But that's exactly what happened. This dime, discovered decades later, carries an almost mythical set of minting flaws so unusual that experts had to examine it repeatedly before confirming that it was, in fact, a genuine U.S. mint product and not the result of tampering or damage. The most striking feature of this remarkable dime is its off-metal planchet, meaning it was struck on the wrong type of metal blank entirely. Believed to have been intended for a foreign coin contract or perhaps a transitional experimental planchet used in testing. Instead of the usual copper-nickel composition of standard Roosevelt dimes, metallurgical tests revealed this coin contains a higher silver content with traces of platinum-like reflectivity, giving it a distinctive luster and coloration unseen on any other dime from the period. This makes it not only visually breathtaking, but compositionally unique, and when paired with the extraordinary errors it carries, the result is a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece of minting mishap. On its obverse, the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt shows a strong double die error so pronounced that you can see clear doubling on his profile, especially around the lips, nose, and chin, as well as on the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, which appear almost shadowed and raised twice, creating a 3D-like illusion. Collectors prize double dies for their visual impact, but this one is unlike any other known example from the 1970s because of how sharp and complete, the doubling appears across the entire design, suggesting multiple hub impressions that were slightly misaligned during die creation. This kind of error happens so rarely that most collectors only ever see faint doubling under magnification. But this coin's bold and naked eye visible doubling made it instantly recognizable as something special. The reverse of the coin, however, is where the real shock lies, because instead of the standard torch, olive branch, and oak branch design, this particular specimen displays a partial brockage and mirror image of the obverse pressed into the reverse, as though the coin was struck between two other planchets in a mechanical jam, resulting in a mirrored and reversed impression of Roosevelt's face faintly visible behind the torch. This type of brockage error is among the rarest and most visually stunning errors in all of coin collecting, often caused when one freshly struck coin fails to eject and acts as a die for the next strike, leaving behind an inverted image. The odds of such a brockage appearing cleanly and symmetrically as seen on this dime are astronomical, but that's not the only thing making it unique. The coin also exhibits a 45-degree die rotation misalignment, meaning that when flipped vertically, the reverse design is rotated significantly off-center from the obverse, creating a jarring yet fascinating misalignment that adds another layer of rarity. Adding to the intrigue, this dime also displays a partial collar strike, often called a railroad rim error, where the coin's edge is uneven because it was only partially encased in the striking collar, giving one side a thicker rim with stretched reading and the other a thinner, flattened border. This kind of imperfection is tangible. You can feel it with your fingertips, and it makes the coin unmistakably different even before examining its surface. But the surprises don't stop there. Under microscopic analysis, experts found faint die cracks branching from Roosevelt's temple to the rim, as well as a small cud, a raised blob of metal caused by a missing piece of the die, just above the letter Y in Liberty. These signs of die deterioration suggest that this coin was struck late in the die's lifespan, just before it would have been retired, further narrowing the production window during which this incredible error could have occurred. Even the date, 1974, shows evidence of minor doubling and tilt, leading some experts to believe that the die itself may have been improperly seated or damaged during installation. The coin's weight also deviates slightly from the standard 2.27 grams typical for a Roosevelt dime, coming in slightly heavier, which supports the theory that it was struck on experimental or foreign planchet, possibly from leftover materials intended for another denomination or a coinage contract for another country. What makes this story even more fascinating is how the coin was discovered. For years, it lay unnoticed in a private collection, believed to be an ordinary proof-like dime with unusual shine, until a sharp-eyed collector, while reviewing inherited coins, noticed the off-center strike and strange mirror image on the reverse. After months of research and professional evaluation, it was authenticated and graded as genuine, with experts from multiple grading agencies confirming its authenticity, composition, and error types. When the news broke, the numismatic world went into a frenzy. The coin's combination of features, double die obverse, brockage reverse, rotated die, partial collar, off-metal planchet, and high state of preservation, was unprecedented. It became the only known specimen of its kind, earning it the title of a unique minting miracle. Collectors compared it to legendary rarities like the 1913 Liberty Nickel or the 1933 Double Eagle because of its perfect blend of mystery, beauty, and impossibility. When a 1974 dime finally went to auction, anticipation was electric. Bidders from around the globe competed fiercely, with major museums, private investors, and elite collectors all vying for ownership of this numismatic phenomenon. The final hammer price shocked even the experts, a jaw-dropping $142 million, making it the most expensive dime ever sold and one of the most valuable coins of any denomination in history. But beyond its staggering price tag, what truly makes this coin captivating is the enigma that surrounds it. How could a coin like this have been struck and escape the mint's rigorous inspection systems, especially in an era when quality control had reached advanced levels? Was it a result of a mint employee's mistake, or perhaps a deliberate experimental piece that somehow slipped through the cracks? Some even speculate it could have been part of a test strike batch meant to evaluate new metal compositions or die alignments, never intended for public release, which somehow found its way into circulation or storage and later emerged as a one-of-kind discovery. Whatever the truth, the 1974 one dime stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of coin minting, where even machines designed for precision can, through a perfect storm of timing and mechanical failure, produce something extraordinary. Every element of this coin, from its brilliant reflective surfaces to its slightly warped edges, tells a story of chaos turned into beauty, of error transformed into treasure. For collectors, it's a reminder that no coin is too small to hold potential beyond imagination. The 1974 dime is not just metal. It's history, science, art, and mystery fused into one flawless imperfection. Last, 1994 P1 dime that turned into one of the most extraordinary treasures in numismatic history, valued at a staggering $11 million because of the rare and fascinating minting errors that make it one of a kind, a modern marvel of imperfection that became priceless. Imagine finding a dime in your pocket or coin jar and realizing it could be worth more than a mansion, a luxury yacht, or even a private island. That's the kind of story we're talking about today. The 1994 P dime, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, was part of an era of high-speed mass production when billions of coins were produced with modern technology designed for precision and consistency. Yet despite the tightest quality controls, mistakes still happened. And once in a generation, one of those mistakes produces a coin so rare, so bizarre, and so perfect in its imperfection that it becomes a legend. This particular 1994 P dime displays a combination of minting errors so unusual and complex that experts initially thought it couldn't possibly be real until advanced testing confirmed every detail to be genuine. And that's what makes this coin worth millions. The most striking feature of this rare dime is its double-die obverse, with a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt shows clear and powerful doubling visible to the naked eye, especially around his eyes, nose, lips, and chin, as well as in the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The doubling is crisp, clean, and perfectly aligned, which indicates a hubbing error during die creation, where the working die received multiple impressions from the master hub slightly out of sync. This produces a shadow-like duplication across the surface, and collectors around the world prize such dramatic double dies because they are visual proof of minting anomalies that were never supposed to exist. But that's just the beginning. On the reverse side of this incredible dime, the traditional torch, olive branch, and oak branch design appears partially off-center by nearly 20%, revealing a broad, flat blank area on the coin's rim where the strike didn't reach, making this a classic example of an off-center strike error. Off-center coins are collectible in themselves, but what makes this one truly jaw-dropping is the combination of major off-center alignment with strong doubling on the obverse. Something so rare that the probability of both errors appearing on one coin is estimated at less than 1 in several hundred million strikes. Adding to its mystique, this dime also exhibits a die rotation error, where the obverse and reverse designs are misaligned by nearly 30 degrees, meaning when you flip the coin vertically, the reverse design does not line up perfectly with Roosevelt's portrait. This rotational misalignment adds another layer of rarity because such errors typically occur due to mechanical failure in the die's alignment system. and they are seldom this pronounced on modern coins. Even more astonishingly, microscopic examination revealed faint die cracks along Roosevelt's neckline and running through the P mint mark, signs of die fatigue and stress that suggest the die was near the end of its life cycle when this coin was struck, making the conditions perfect for multiple simultaneous errors to occur. There's also evidence of die clash marks faintly visible behind the torch on the reverse, ghostly outlines from when the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind mirrored traces of Roosevelt's profile on the reverse design. The rim of the coin tells another fascinating story, showing a partial collar strike, often called a railroad rim mirror, where one edge of the coin is slightly thicker and rounded while the other is thinner and more flattened, caused by the coin being improperly seated in the striking collar during minting. This detail alone gives the coin a distinct tactile feel, and when viewed edge-on, it displays an uneven shape that distinguishes it immediately from normal dimes. Perhaps the most mysterious characteristic of all is its unusual color and metal composition. When the coin was subjected to spectrographic analysis, researchers discovered that its copper-nickel-clad layers were slightly thinner than standard specifications and contained trace elements of manganese and zinc, which might indicate that it was struck on experimental or foreign planchet that was accidentally fed into the press intended for Roosevelt dimes. The result is a slightly different hue and sheen compared to normal 1994 dimes, a subtle bluish-silver tone that reflects light differently and gives it a proof-like shimmer even though it was struck for circulation. Such composition anomalies are extremely rare and are often the result of leftover test blanks or mixed metal planchets being mistakenly struck during production. Now imagine all these separate minting anomalies: double die, off-center strike, die rotation, die cracks, die clash, partial collar, and off-metal composition, all occurring on one single dime. That combination defies the odds of chance and turns this coin into a genuine numismatic miracle. When this dime was first discovered, it wasn't in a museum or collector's vault. It was found by an unsuspecting individual in Pennsylvania who noticed that the coin looked slightly off when examining pocket change. They saw Roosevelt's double profile and the odd rim, but had no idea what they were holding. After showing it to a local dealer, the coin was sent to a professional grading service for authentication, and once confirmed as genuine, the discovery spread through the numismatic community like wildfire. Experts debated its origins, its composition, and how so many errors could have happened at once in a single strike. Some speculated it was part of a mint test batch. Others believed it might have been struck under experimental conditions late in a die's life, or even during a transition between coinage materials, all of which could explain its extraordinary features. But no matter how it happened, everyone agreed on one thing: this dime was unique, and its uniqueness made it priceless. When it finally appeared at auction, collectors and investors from all over the world competed fiercely for ownership. The bidding skyrocketed past all expectations, driven by its unmatched combination of errors and perfect preservation. In the end, it sold for a breathtaking $11 million, setting a new record for the most expensive modern U.S. dime ever sold. Its story captivated not only seasoned numismatists but also new collectors who realized that life-changing discoveries can still be found in everyday change. Beyond its financial value, the 1994 P dime holds immense historical and educational significance. It serves as a tangible reminder of the complexity of coin production, the fragility of perfection, and the fact that even in an age of technology, human and mechanical errors can still produce miracles. Each microscopic feature tells part of its story. The doubled letters whisper of hubbing misalignments. The rotated reverse reveals machinery out of sync. The die cracks show strain and fatigue, and the off-center strike speaks of a momentary misfeed in the coining press. When all of these factors converge in one moment, A masterpiece of numismatic error is born. Collectors often say that rarity equals beauty, and in this case, the 1994 Pete dime embodies both in perfect harmony. It's a piece that bridges the gap between art and science, between accident and destiny. Even decades later, the coin remains one of the most studied and discussed modern mint errors in existence, featured in exhibitions, publications, and documentaries as a symbol of how the tiniest imperfections can create unimaginable worth. For coin hunters everywhere, this story is a powerful reminder to never overlook the details. Because that slightly odd-looking dime in your hand, the one that seems a bit off, could hold secrets waiting to be revealed. The legend of the 1994 P dime continues to inspire treasure seekers, historians, and dreamers alike, proving that fortune favors the observant and that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest story. This is the Numis Hunter reminding you that every coin tells a tale, every error hides an opportunity, and sometimes one humble dime can hold a fortune beyond imagination. Keep searching, keep believing, and maybe your next great discovery is just one coin away.